Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our daily gratitude and affirmation walk. Thank you so much for being here. I have something to show you. Look at all this water dripping. Isn't it pretty? Oh, so beautiful. We've had a couple of ice storms here. I would say in the last 5 years or so. And I wish I had gotten more pictures and videos. Oh, it was so beautiful. That hasn't happened in a while, though. Alrighty. Moving on. It is Friday, everyone. That is our number one gratitude. It is Friday. And walk through yesterday. Number 2. I actually got to talk to my friend Bailey in California. Squirrel. Ugh. Yonder. Oh, I can't zoom in with these gloves. Look at this cute little munchkin. Boop, 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 boop. And away he goes. Anyways, I got to talk to my friend Bailey. This is my friend who's a photographer. Really talented. And I asked her, I was like, Bailey, do you have any capacity to help me with my inventory pictures? And she's like, yeah, I got you. And I was like, oh, bless your soul. Thank you so much. So she's going to help me out with that. She even gave me a file share service that I've never heard of before. And so going to get that set up this weekend, send some stuff over to her. She said with the 1,200 pictures, it would take about 5 to 6 hours to go through all of that. So I think what I'm going to do first is clean up and delete out any pictures that aren't really worth it. And then number 3, I got to talk to John last night, getting closer to making some decisions as to what I'm doing, whether renewing my lease or not renewing it. And we'll see how that goes. But I'm starting to have an semblance. Oh, I see you, cute little dear. A semblance of a plan. Well, you can see its little butt right here. And now you can kind of see its little nose. I should just take off this glove. Hold up. It's looking at us. Da, da. I see you. Apparently it didn't like that. Alright. So I got to talk to my friend John yesterday, and it was nice just to express where I'm at. You know, this decision's a big deal for me. And I've had to come to terms with a lot of different things and emotions and timelines, but talking it out with somebody, I think, helped me just to solidify what feels the best for me. So yeah, that was a good conversation. It was kind of relieving. I'm also going to talk to my aunt about it, because here's the thing, guys. When you're making any type of decision for yourself, you should already know what you want to do. And when I'm talking about connecting with someone over that and like asking for their opinions, it's more of just to figure out and discover anything else that I'm not maybe aware of within myself. But don't look to other people to make the decision for you or to confirm the direction in which you need to go. So it's not what that conversation was. Really, it helps me verbally work out something if I get to riff off of somebody else. And, you know, there were a few areas where I was like, I don't know, I need some more clarity, but speaking it out and hearing someone ask me logical questions gave me some of the answers that I was seeking. Are there any deer? I don't see. But the forest, number 4 for the day, we've been getting rain that we added. And the forest is this nice orange today. All the leaves that fell down. So, I'm probably just going to stand here for a few minutes. It's a little wet, so I'm not going to sit today. Some days I don't care. Today, my hands are already cold. Don't need that. Number 5. I went through my entire Trello board yesterday and organized everything that I need to absolutely get done by the end of January. So now all of that is officially organized. I'm not taking on anything else onto my plate. And it feels relieving. It feels good. If I can maximize my time over the weekends and continue with this directed focus, I might even be able to get this done by the beginning of December. And if that's the case, then what I'm going to do, December and January are really just going to be leaning into as much peace as possible. One of the things I'm going to do over this weekend, number 6, is I already told you guys my word that I feel very drawn to for this coming year is fulfilled dreams. Fulfilled dreams and community. And while I don't have as many ideas on community just yet, and I think that is going to happen more organically, I think sitting down over this weekend and really laying out what is my major goal for my life, what is the overarching theme, my goal, and then what processes, again, like what areas funnel up into that goal, and then how am I going to break that down more specifically and ensure that I'm not just putting things on my plate for the sake of putting them on my plate. I'm also going to reevaluate all of my business ideas. I have like a 2-3 year plan for my business, but I think some of the ideas are going to be better integrated at a later point in time. And some of them I'm going to bring forward in this next year. So I want to whittle those down again. And we'll see what I'm gravitating to. I just heard something. But I also think that's going to give me clarity and confirmation and peace of mind as to what decision I need to make this week, whether I'm staying and renewing the lease or whether I'm going. But I have really beautiful things that I'm dreaming about for this coming year. And you know what? That is a beautiful place to be after I've had so much hardship, emotionally and just outside of myself this year. I've just had some, for me, life-altering and difficult event. There's been many nourishing blessings. My word for this year was nourishment, and by golly, have I not been nourished throughout everything that I've gone through and experienced. But I will say this year was a pivotal year for me, and I'm no longer interested in having pain and suffering be a part of my life going forward. And I've built a really strong foundation within myself. I'm going to continue to do so. I feel blessed that I got to experience everything, and even utilizing what happened for my ultimate good. But yeah, no, that's not going to be the rest of my life. I'm not going to go through pain and suffering and anguish and other things, I'm gonna commit to my dreams, actually, more than I ever have before. And part of me doesn't know fully what some of those dreams look like, or like what steps to take. I'm just gonna go on a whim and we'll see where we end up. And I swear, guys, on a random note, if I have gotten another mosquito bite through my clothing, what is life? I keep getting bit up. All right, we're gonna head out. So I'm excited to do that. I'm adding in either egg yolks, or this is number 7. Number 7 for the day. Today is the day that I add in either egg yolks or egg whites to my diet. And normally you're supposed to add something in every 3 days. So I'll decide in the moment which one that's going to be. But additionally, because I'm going to take a beautiful and brave step forward and like fully commit to things that even are so big that they just seem like dreams, that I'm going to take time and do that this weekend. I might actually go and get myself a bit of food in honor of, really dedicating to myself and taking time to know, what do I want my life to look like for the next year? What's important to me? What do I want to invest into? What do I want to leave behind? There's a lot of power in doing that, especially if you're in a situation where you feel like you don't have a voice, you don't really have a lot of power in it. There are ways to take back your power and make yourself feel empowered. I've been spending a lot of time with myself doing that. So, also got to think about my birthday is coming up in 3 months. So I will be 31. And, wow. I feel kind of emotional about that because I've had so many beautiful moments in my life. I've lived a very enriched life and, I've had a lot of joy. But there's just been extreme, also like suffering and pain and anguish and mourning of just things through my childhood, and those things in my childhood continued into my teens. And then in my teens, one of those, I ended up, someone very dear and close to me, I ended up losing them in my very early 20s, which also, then didn't realize, like, when you lose somebody like that, how just encompassing the grief is, right? Like, and maybe there, I have a feeling, I just saw someone's face pop up in my head. I think that's what our message is going to be about today. Is going to be on this topic, because when you lose someone that's just such a core, fundamental goal or post in your life, parent, grandparent, brother, sister, sibling, child, that has such a profound impact, friend even. And so that was my 20s, was dealing with that, and then just different tumultuous relationships. And now I'm in my 30s and I'm like, no more. No. All of that got the first 30 years of my life. Absolutely freaking not. No thank you. I am done. It's gonna be a beautiful life going forward. I refuse to put any energy into anything but that. Will there still be hard moments? Sure. It's life. But this is gonna be so different. So different. And my peace and my own energy and my being, my value, and just the type of what I value externally, I'm not willing to let any of that get affected by all this stuff that I've had to live through. And a lot of it, I didn't really have a choice, right? Like, you don't have a choice if someone in your life is very sick. You don't have a choice if your parents are divorcing. You don't have a choice really if your boundaries are being violated and you're a child instead of, an adult who, or even when you're an adult, like sometimes there's situations that like these things happen and you are meant to deal with the after effects. All right, so that's going to be the message for the day, is the after effects. So we'll come back to that. But you know what? Number 7, I'm just grateful I'm having this conversation with you guys. I don't think enough people talk about this. I don't think enough people even understand too that everything that happens in their life, you literally can take the energy from and go, I'm done. No, thank you. There is so much power in the words, I'm done. Think about the times in your life where you got to that point where you're like, no, I'm done. What happened after you said I'm done? That's like you went to the edge of the cliff and you're like, I'm not jumping off this again. No, thank you. And things in your life kind of started changing. So I'm just so grateful to be even able to witness this in myself. And that's such a beautiful thing to say, I'm done, to all of that happening in my life. And I'm really okay leaving people, places, situations, any of that that even seems like it's heading in that direction in my life going forward. I'm just an immediate no. No, thank you. Like, you guys can go and do that. I do not care. I've had enough of that in my life. Don't need that. I think that's why too, when people get into arguments or when I find myself in arguments, I'm kind of just like it just doesn't evoke a strong emotional response in me because I've already gone through so much in my life, and I'm like, in comparison, like, this is just a normal conversation. Yeah. Number 8 for the day. I already said I'm grateful for the rainy day, but I like that it's misty too. I don't really know. You can kind of see it down there. It's not like when we took our adventure through Hobbiton the other time in the Misty Mountains. Number 8. The other thing, I told you guys, planned out to start going through my closet. I did take a step yesterday. God, it makes me feel so good when I can do this, but I had some old like blankets and sheets and towels and let me quick aside story to kind of showcase to you guys like what I mean by like suffering and just ridiculous kind of scenarios. I had all like towels and blankets and other stuff that I was saving because I was gonna get a puppy. I actually purchased a puppy, and it was like a day or two before I was supposed to fly out and get her. And God, poor thing, but she started having seizures, and eventually they just had to put her down. So I have like all this stuff to take care of a puppy, like sprays and like the pads and everything that I haven't been using. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I am literally, this whole chapter in my life of everything, of like the pain, the suffering, the mourning, the carrying anything from the past. I'm a huge fan of, like, I have a bow, an archery bow that I haven't touched in a couple of years, and I keep it because I'm like, this is a really good bow and I want to start shooting again. But I keep thinking, I'm like, you know what? I might as well sell it and go and get myself a new bow in this point of my life, because it's going to carry different energy, and I'm just carrying around something from the past that someone else can truly love and cherish and get more joy out of. And when I get a new bow, it's more of a reminder of where I am now than anything in the past. Like, I'm a huge fan of like, sell it, get another one, and oh great, we have so much time. Sell it, get another one, and have it match where you are now. There's so much stuff that we're just carrying from the past. I really truly want to be intentional about that this time. So yeah, going back to my number 8, long story short, all this stuff that I've been carrying and saving for a puppy, I ended up just going to the animal shelter yesterday and just donating it, which I had some of the stuff in my car and it's been there for quite a while, but I'm like, I need to start actually taking steps and getting this out. It was a huge boost of energy. I'm very grateful that I could provide needed supplies in that way. And I still want a dog. It's been a couple of years since that, but you know what? I think I've worked through a lot of emotional stuff this year. I told you, we're done. This is it. This year ends, end of January comes around, and I'm already building the next phase of my life, but that's an official cutoff of like, no, we're done. And so I still want a dog, but I think now it's going to be different. I used to have a dog, and we got him when he was 12, and I had him until he was 16. It was more of like a family dog that I ended up just taking with me because, you know, I felt like I could provide him a little bit more care. And man, that was the first pet I've ever had to put down. And it still makes me emotional, right? I'm sure a lot of you can empathize with that, you know. And here's the other thing, like, I don't know if anyone's going to resonate with, but after that happened, I was so just sad and depressed, but there was also relief there. There was relief because, like, he wasn't suffering, but also because, like, I didn't have, this is going to sound maybe off to some, but, like, I didn't have to provide that care anymore. And the reason why it was relieving was because at that point in my life, I had so much on my plate from an emotional standpoint. Like, gotta remember my timeline I was telling you guys. Childhood, tumultuous. Teens, very tumultuous. My entire college days, early 20s, incredibly tumultuous. You know, losing somebody in my early 20s, that was a staple in my life. And then I think a few years after that, having to put my dog down, and you know, my dog is a senior dog. Looking back, I did not have the strong tool set. I had strong will. I have always been a person who's like, no matter what, I can get through anything, or just I'm in it and I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna carry myself through it. That saved me my entire childhood, my entire teens, and for my 20s. But in my 20s, I had also moved out, and all of the stuff that I went through, I thought moving out I'd get like kind of like a life of peace, right? But it was more of like, oh, you are now feeling safe, let's present you the gift of dealing and truly working through your trauma, and on top of that, fresh trauma from like losing someone, right? So having that relief, I think, was because like I was struggling to even care for myself in a way that I can truly care for myself now. And here's another example or situation that I didn't even learn until I was in my late 20s. I never really cared about having kids. I thought about it a couple times, got to the point where I was like, yeah, Adopting. I'll adopt a kid, I'm fine with that, but I don't really care to have my own. It was not until I'd worked through a lot of my trauma and made space internally that I actually felt, you know what? I want my own kids. Why did that come about? Because I can now care for myself, and I have the capacity to care for somebody else. That is what I think always pushed the idea away, is because like I didn't even feel like I had the room, the space, the time to properly care for myself. And now that I've worked through that, going back to like having a dog, like it's gonna be different because I can care for something and not like take from myself. And I have so many more tools. I've built a very strong foundation within myself. And that also, number 9, I'm so grateful that I'm at a point where I recognize that I want to have kids. And I'm looking forward to that. Like I'm looking forward to having kids and taking them on these walks and seeing how they interact with the environment and exploring the world from their eyes. And it's going to be so beautiful. And I'm excited. Like I'm truly grateful for being excited as to when that's going to occur and what that looks like. And just I feel so blessed to even be at this moment and honor all the work that I've put into myself. Man, this is a really deep video, guys. I was not anticipating this for the morning, but emotions can be heavy, and that's really okay. That's a number 10 gratitude. Emotions can be heavy, and it's completely okay. Or emotions can just like, I'm honoring this, and I'm so grateful actually, because this is the feeling you get when you've reached the end of the chapter and you are honoring it and saying goodbye at the same time. We're gonna have a good year together next year, everyone. I can feel it. And I wouldn't even say, it's more of like a heaviness of sitting with it and going, wow, I've processed a lot. I've gone through a lot of life. I'm just so excited that I get to rewrite an entire new story for myself going forward. And I'm just honoring, man, it's because of all of my life experiences that I now get to help other people. And I was strong enough to go through that. But I also acknowledge I shouldn't have been a strong person to go through it alone. And a lot of I had people, I had my friends, I had specific family members, but I truly see myself helping and leading. And someone told me once, if you are called to be a leader, you can't be a follower. And leaders stand in front of others. So everything in my life has prepared me to confidently stand in front and stand by myself if need be. So I'm also even grateful for that. But all right, so those are the 10 gratitudes. So much beauty in that. Thank you for witnessing me. Thank you for being with me through this video. And I hope and pray that me speaking about my life experiences and some of the hardest things I've had to go through is calming and therapeutic for some of you to start acknowledging your own power and just honor those experiences that you've been going through as well. Okay, and the message of the day, now I totally forgot what that was going to be. You know what? I think the message of the day is going to be that how do you stand in your own sovereignty, in your own power? And I'm not talking about stoic, I can do this myself and I will I will witness my own suffering in my own silence and without others. And how do you stand and honor and acknowledge yourself through a difficult time in your life? I think one of the things that has helped me the most is acknowledging two things. Acknowledging that all of my emotions are valid. We get into these wars. Like, I have two pieces of myself right now. That one piece is like, with the situation that I've been working through for the past, like, this year, is like, you've been really hurt and you were abandoned and you don't deserve this, and that part is angry. And protecting, like, anytime you see anger, it is showing you that you have a wound. Anger is not an unhealthy emotion. Anger is protective. And this part wants to protect me even further. And underneath that anger is like deep hurt and mourning and just sorrow, right? Or whatever else you want to put as an emotion. Then I have this other part that's just like so loving and so caring and compassionate towards this person and other people, that is always like, they're struggling too, and they did what they thought was best for them, and like, still loves this person and still loves other people. Both are so valid. You shouldn't be at war with yourself and trying to make yourself feel a certain way, because the answer is, like, we're complex beings. Also, acknowledging and recognizing that you are human. You are so human. And it is very human to feel this. What is not... Okay, so I talked about this in the podcast. Podcast episode is up, by the way. I'd go and give it a listen, because John and I were both talking about stress, but it led to a very important conversation around normal versus unnormal. When we are in these situations, we tend to tell ourselves, like, what's wrong with you, or you're weird, or like, you can't handle this, or like, you're not handling this well, or whatever else you want to tell yourself as your storyline. And then we start feeling like we're the one that has the problem, and we're the one that is broken and off and upset and like undesired, icky. The thing is, feeling all of that is normal. What is not normal is the situation you're probably in and or is exposed to that you're trying to tell yourself is normal. Do not discount your experience. Do not discount your truth. And if other people are doing that, you need to leave. Leave and or protect yourself and work through your emotions and acknowledge and honor that they are your truth. They are valuable. You are valuable. We do a lot of like, oh my gosh, what's the word? Reasoning, justifying for other people, but we don't really do it for ourselves. So make sure that you are honoring and empowering, acknowledging yourself and how you feel and how you've seen the situation. Morning. Aww. So that's the message of the day. How do you stand in your sovereignty and power when you're going through something that feels like it's taking all of that away from you? That is how. Honor your truth. Acknowledge that it is very, very normal. And most oftentimes, if we compare the external situation to what would be considered a perfect situation. And perfection isn't, when I say perfection, it's more if, people were complex beings and if it could happen exactly how it was supposed to. Comparing it to that, you'll find that probably that situation isn't normal. It's not normally how it's supposed to go if both people were in their sovereignty. That's the message of the day. Now for the affirmations. Number 1, as always, I'm divinely guided and supported. I can ask for help whenever I need it, and I humbly ask for help today. Number 2, I love myself deeply, fully, and completely. Number 3, miracles and blessings are a common occurrence throughout my day. I love to see them, and I deeply desire more. Number 4, I'm not stressed. Everything's going to work out for my ultimate good, and I can just be in a state of receiving. And number 5, joy is abounding and overflowing in my day. I could take that joy and just be in a state of fun, excitement, play, and exploration. Number 6, choose again, and I choose better for myself. Number 7, I am empowered and I powerfully show up to co-create this present reality that I am living in, and I bring forth anything that is a deep desire that is now part of my present reality. Number 8 for the day. I release what does not serve me, what is not for me, and love and gratitude. And I thoroughly drop it. I am done. And I honor and welcome in anything that is healthy for me, nourishing, supportive, and is for me at this current point in my life. What number are we on? 9? We'll do 9. What a beautiful day to be alive. I actually like that it's overcast and kind of rainy. Claim of the day, our accomplishments, what we want to be, see, feel, hear, do, show up. Appreciate the fact that we're alive. I get to experience this. I also had a nice night last night reading my book. It'll be in number 11. So it was good. It's good getting that downtime. And 10 for the day. I love, I am love. I'm fully surrounded by love and a nourishing, supportive, caring, kind community that also in turn nourishes me and I them. That is all for today, guys. Love you all so much. What are you grateful for? What are you affirming? How are you doing? How did you feel about the message today? Let me know in the comments below. And I will see you guys for tomorrow's video. Have a great Friday and a lovely start to your weekend.